Okay. All right. Hopefully this glow isn't too much from the sun. Okay. So let's see. We have one group that's kind of finishing up and one group that's in week 2 right now. And FYI, my intention is to start group 3 on June 6th is what I'm thinking, but we can talk about that as coaches and announce it soon. But so if, anybody watching the recording here has people that are seeing how great they're feeling and want their friends to join in. And if you want to continue on, because in the next couple of weeks, we'll be talking more about what that looks like, what the next steps are and how things go. So for right now, let's talk about the important issue of supplements, because we are about to get back in stock, which is super exciting because we have a lot of people who started without supplements, or maybe even got some other supplements, but weren't Beachbody supplements. And so I wanted to talk through some of that, what the supplements mean, why would we take supplements, how does that change anything? And the first thing I want to talk about before we even get into that piece is all day. I've been in the car a lot today. So all day I've been listening to Fiber Fueled, which is, I can't say his last name, Dr. Will, blah, 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 no idea how to say his last name. He's a gastroenterologist. He is, my understanding is he was very influential in the creation of this program. Because he also has a program similar to this, and Autumn has been on his podcast, and I believe that she used some of his research and information to create this program. Don't quote me on that. That's just kind of, how I've understood it. But so all day I've been listening to him. And one of the things he said today that was so great and so relatable was that, okay, hang on. Okay. One of the things that he said today that really stuck with me, when you start working out, when you start an exercise program, like let's say you haven't been working out in a really long time and you start an exercise program, you're not going to start out at this elite level, right? You're going to have like this starter, you're going to be sore, you're going to be figuring things out, you're going to improve as you go. And the same thing is true for our gut health. You've been doing whatever to your gut this whole time. And now all of a sudden you're like, hey, we're going to get healthy. We're going to do this thing. Okay. Hang. I'm not sure why she has to be out here with me. Okay. So it's like all of a sudden you're like gung ho, right? Like we're hitting this, we're going to hit the gym, 10 times this week and we're gonna do it. Same with our gut protocol. We're going to eat all the beans. We're going to get all this fiber in our diets. We're going to do this. And our body might be like, whoa, this is a lot to handle. This is a lot to take. This is a lot of fiber going through us right now. We're not really sure. We don't quite have all the best gut bugs in our system yet. We don't have everything that can take advantage of this. And so that's where the supplements come in, right? So the whole idea of this program and of getting healthy in general, right, is you're improving things. You're improving the situation. You're improving your body to be more receptive to the things you're giving it. So the supplements come in. Digestive enzymes are going to help to break down that food so that you can absorb the nutrients more easily. The pre and probiotics are going to be there to introduce maybe some bugs you don't have, to help feed bugs you do have that you want to keep, right? And that's where all the fiber comes in. That's also feeding the things that we want to keep in our system, the things that are going to do the work for us, that are going to help us through. So in this, you're in an improvement phase, right? You are improving your gut health, how things are going so that you can get to an optimal level. So that's kind of, I just thought when I was listening to that, I'm like, that is so brilliant because it's so true, right? We expect we're going to like eat a salad and then the weight just falls off and everything's good. We're better, right? I hit the treadmill yesterday, so I'm ready to run a marathon. It's fine. And that's not how it is. And we all know, we've all been working out long enough. That's not how it works. And it really does take consistent nutrition, consistent fitness to get to those places. So even let's say you did this plan for 4 weeks and you're like, okay, awesome. I feel great. I'm going to go back to portion fix. Perfect, right? If you get on portion fix though, and you start sliding other things back in, like maybe too many treats, maybe more alcohol than you had yellows, maybe, whatever. If you just kind of keep sliding that scale, your gut is going to change again from those things. So I'm not saying like you have to leave things exactly the same. I'm just saying your choices after, no matter what plan you're following, need to still be good options to keep your gut health, because it does go away. It's Autumn talked about that actually in the 4 weeks for everybody workouts, where she said, it's not like you work out for a certain amount of time and then you're just fit for life. It's a constant thing you always have to work on. Your gut health is the same way. Those bugs aren't going to survive on their own if they're not fed, if they're not cared for. And so that's the thing I think to really take away from this whole program is this is really about improvement and then also maintaining so that you can really reap the benefits of your food. And I think there's more. I don't know, Bev, if you want to say anything more about the supplements too. I know Bev has a lot of experience with supplement stuff in general and researching all of it and figuring out what's great.
Well, honestly, so Autumn actually shared herself, like her own story. Like she had been on the supplements for a period of time, and then she started feeling really good. And so then as we do, we kind of think, okay, I'm doing good. You know what? I don't need these anymore. I'm just gonna stop taking them. And I might notice if something changes. But for her, she ended up going off of them, and then she ended up going back to the doctor and did testing, which we're not necessarily doing. If we are, that's fantastic. But she was able to find out that her absorption levels, like she was not absorbing the nutrients like she had been when she was taking those supplements. And the thing that I know for me the most is that, and for my son even, is that the taking these types of supplements isn't like a quick notice thing. And
Right.
It's something that you don't even necessarily notice. It's really that you gradually are able to absorb the nutrients a little bit better. Your body's able to operate at a different level than what it was previously doing with more ease. And so you don't really notice that you're improving, just as you don't really notice like, oh, I'm declining now, until you're really not feeling well. And then by that point, if you're at that point where you're really not feeling well and you're going to see a physician or you're looking for answers, that's a long way down the road, because our bodies are designed to cope and to just deal with whatever we throw at it, because that's like literally it's survive. Yeah, that's what it's designed to do, and it will make it so that you will survive. And so that's one of the it's kind of one of the upsides to supplements and downsides at the same time, because it's not something that you're necessarily going to notice that you're reaping benefits from right in 1 month's time. And I feel like that really wasn't necessarily portrayed enough in the materials that were shared. She did mention, with the digestive enzymes that it may assist in a little bit of the digesting, so you might not deal with as much bloating and stuff when you're eating certain, foods. But there's so much more that goes way beyond the bloating that can occur in the gut when you're giving it those tools that a lot of us kind of decline in having as we get older due to stress, environment, and foods and alcohol and
Right. Yeah, depending
ourselves.
on where you start, right? Depending on
Mhm.
what your starting point is. If your gut has already gone through so much, it may, like her, she's probably just not going to go off of her supplements at this point. Because especially, I mean, as you age, you do create less digestive enzymes.
Mhm.
And, so, and if she needs it for absorption, then, it's just one of those things where she's going to stay on. So.
Right, right. And I mean, if you are the kind of person who is dealing with more of a chronic illness, like or a chronic issue that, and you're just doing this to kind of see if there's, something that you can get from it, that's going to take you a lot longer time. And to have a doctor to be able to assist you is definitely going to be beneficial.
Mhm.
And at the same time, a lot of times those doctors are going to aid you in going through a process kind of similar to this, but maybe a little bit more in depth with some more supplementation.
Right. I really love how much you can learn about yourself in this program. I think that's been a really cool thing for everybody that's already been in it for a while. I think you like pay attention to how you're feeling so much more instead of just pushing through things, because you're like, oh, well, does that have something to do with my nutrition? Or what did I just eat that, I'm a little bit off. And I think that part has been really fascinating. And then maybe the other biggest thing is that label reading. I have to tell you, and I'm still drinking this because I'm within my grams, but my favorite drink, I was sitting there in the drive-through today, and all of a sudden I look over and they've got the box of almond milk. And I'm like, hey, can you just tell me what the added sugars are in that? Because I saw it was 70 calories instead of 45 calories. And she's like, it's got 8 grams of added sugar. And I'm like, come on.
Right.
Right? I mean, I don't get sweetener in it. It's just my almond milk latte. And she's like, yeah, it's the barista blend. So that's why. Makes it a little thicker, a little more exciting.
Is that from Starbucks or somewhere
No,
else?
this is Dutch Bros. This is what we have by us.
Starbucks probably has the same thing though.
There's probably more sweet, honestly.
Mhm.
I've noticed their sugar contents are insane.
Mhm.
But so, yeah, so it's fun. But like, I would never even think to look at that previously, right? Those are the kinds of things where we're opening our eyes and seeing, and you get to make choices off real data, real information, not just what the front of the box says. I always love it when people in the groups, not our groups, because everybody knows to post the back, but when they just post the front, can I have this? I don't know. Let's see what's in it.
Like this one here.
Exactly. Oh yeah. You're going to have,
Those are good. I've had those.
I know. I was curious how they compared. We can go over it later, but I was
yeah, we'll
curious how
start on
they
the food
compared
labels a little
over
bit.
the
So
The other
I have
one.
a question about supplements. So
Yeah.
when we did the reset, which of the supplements did we take that they were saying we weren't supposed to continue on for a couple months? Was it the
Detox. It was the
That's what I
detox.
thought.
Yeah. And the reason being is we went through a decent amount for that time period. I believe it was 1 week and we had it twice, 3 times or one. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Times
I
did we
think
have
it's
it?
3 times.
I don't remember. Anyway, you
Yeah.
had it quite a bit. So that was like getting your system going. And
Right.
then it said take a break. And then a maintenance level was like once a day or something to that effect. It was like a third of what we were doing. And I want to say, is that the one with the dandelion? It is for your liver to help your liver do what it's supposed to do. It aids your liver. And there's some teas out there. I'm pretty sure I looked at the supplements and I have a tea has like a lesser amount. And so, that's something you could just do too on your own if you didn't have the detox. But I love the flavor of that thing. It was like,
Oh, good.
yeah, it was like Fruit Loops milk. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
That's what I think too.
So good.
Everybody's like, really? I'm like, yes. So
Loved
good.
it.
Fruit Loops.
Yeah. And then the other one that was in there, Soothe, that was all about just kind of calming your system. So it wasn't so crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, here's my guess of how this is going to go. They haven't officially said, but because there's a promo code associated with this, because people have purchased the program without being able to get supplements, my understanding is they'll probably send an email with that code when it's officially on the site. Of course, a lot of us will be watching it to see because there's a lot of people waiting to get it. And if you're a person that's like you really want it, then I would be ready on Tuesday to, make that happen. Because there is a chance, I have no idea how many people are waiting. So there's always a chance it could go out of stock again until June. Supposedly middle of June is when we are supposed to have so much stock, we're good to go. But they're trying to get more shipments in. So.
Well, my refill was actually Ultimate Reset. That just
Oh,
came in the
was
mail
it?
today. Mhm.
I haven't received mine yet. Mine shipped, but I haven't
Mhm.
received it yet. So I'll have to look and see if mine is Ultimate Reset too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe the Ultimate Reset then should be in stock in June sometime.
Mhm.
But I don't know that they've officially given a date for that because the first thing will be the Gut Protocol challenge packs or total solution packs, and just the pack itself that goes with the plan. So, yeah.
Mhm.
So is there any like questions that anybody wants to talk about with the supplements or anything about that or?
Like say, because I'm, ending week 2, if they
Yeah.
were to come back in stock and I'm still doing the gut protocol, adding them in while also adding in like the foods that we haven't been eating, is that still a good idea or continue on with how I'm doing now?
The supplements are always a good idea. Like
Okay.
in general, because that's kind of like and just what Bev was saying, it's not going to be like an Energize where you take it and you're like, oh, I feel the difference, right?
Yeah.
It is
Your body needs to absorb it and get used to
yeah,
it.
it's going to aid in getting everything corrected. So, and you shouldn't have to change anything else you're doing with the gut protocol. You would just take it before your meals. So,
Okay.
yeah. And you may feel a difference with the digestive enzyme, like if you are having some bloating, that can make a difference toward that.
Mhm.
I thought the other thing that was pretty interesting too in this Audible book that I was listening to, the fact that he talked about when you're introducing all this fiber to your system, you are going to have some bloating. You're going to have some of that uncomfortableness that
Mhm.
you have also with food sensitivities. It's
Sure.
your body's reacting in the same way, but he's really strong about feeling like we can retrain our bodies. And that even if it's a sensitivity, you may still not want to completely cut it out. You may just want to have a little bit in your system because that actually can help you tolerate things better. Now, that's something I would say you'd want to take to a professional.
Right.
That's not
Yeah.
something we're going to deal with in here. But I just thought it was really interesting the way he felt like this is, especially when you're just introducing all this fiber. And like if you've never eaten beans and all of a sudden you eat beans, you are going to feel the beans, right? It's
Yeah.
just your body is just not quite sure how to deal with all that. So it's definitely one of those things, especially in these first week or two, that it may not be a sensitivity, right? So maybe we want to just see how things play out if it's just bloating and gas. Now, if you're having brain fog or you're having some of these, rash, other symptoms that signal an allergy sensitivity, then, don't listen to what I'm saying right now. That's not it. It's
Abort.
it's more like our body does have to adjust to these amounts that we're giving it, which is why she went with, cooked veggies in the beginning, because that does aid in that. And it's more helpful. So yeah. Hi, Jess and Jen and Maribel. How are you guys? I've got my starter bangs, Jess.
Good. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you.
I
I love them. You're so
I'm gonna call Tanya and see what she thinks.
cute. They're cute. I love it. Sorry, I'm late. My husband had to get Dairy Queen, so.
It's all right. That's hilarious. Jesse.
I know. He's in bed now because now he's tired.
Well, yeah, clearly.
Yeah. Right.
So let's start on any other questions we have with gut protocol. Say by having. Jen, do you want to, you had mentioned talking about possibly containers. Do you have something you think people should, like we could clarify?
Yeah, I threw that out just as a topic because I know we finishing week 2, right, of the second
Yeah.
round, something like that. And week 1, is a lot of trial and error and figuring out things. And, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about tracking it or like struggling with it. So I don't know how people are feeling and doing. If you're like, having trouble eating all the containers, pairing containers together, like just container talk, because it's a big part of the program, not just the elimination part of it, but just making sure you're eating adequately. And sometimes people think they're not getting results because they're doing something wrong, but in fact, like you're missing out on a lot of stuff, or like, I just figured we'd throw that out there maybe and just see if anybody's having any troubles with that. Sometimes it's hard for me, unless I'm literally using a tracker, sometimes it's hard for me to follow all the containers.
Yeah. And I have to say, like, especially in your first round, I really like tracking is essential. And
Yeah.
I hate it just as much as anybody else, but it really is critical, tracking and using the container to measure.
Yeah.
It's just 2 things that will make a huge difference in everything you're doing. And it's been kind of interesting. I was actually starting to write a post about it today. I am doing maintenance, right? So I've added some recover back in, and I've actually been getting like pretty much all my containers in. Last night was a little bit of a spoof because I was just so full. I'm like, I can't do it. And I think I had a green and a yellow left or something. And but I actually put on a couple pounds, and I was kind of like, well, that's interesting, because even though I'm eating in a surplus, I still didn't quite anticipate putting on some weight, even though I probably should. And so it's like, it was one of those things where I'm kind of like, okay, so let's see what happens. Well, this week I've added in recover, right? So that's some calories. And I've also been pretty consistent in getting my containers in, where the first gut protocol round for me, there were more days where I didn't have something, right? Like maybe I missed a green, maybe I missed a teaspoon or a blue or something like that, because I was still trying to figure out how to make sure I got everything in, or I didn't plan well enough. And so I think it's all those things play in, and especially where I'm eating in a surplus, you're going to see it a little bit faster than if you're eating in a weight loss or in maintenance. But it's something you have to be cognizant of, because I can't just go this week and be like, well, it's not working. It's working just fine. I added more calories back in. I have 5 more grams of sugar in my plan, and apparently 8 grams in my coffee now that I've learned. You know what I mean? So there's always a reason, and it's figuring out that reason. I have been sleeping amazing. I've been feeling amazing this week. So that 2 pounds, I don't care, right? Like, I'm like, I feel outstanding. My workouts have been great. I'm sleeping great. And turns out this will be TMI, but I just really needed to go to the bathroom today. So now we're back down. It's fine. Right? So things have a way of equaling out, but I think sometimes we panic a little too early. And if we're not tracking, if we don't go back and look at what was happening, then we kind of, it starts leaking into our brain like, well, is this really working? I'm doing it 100%. But are you, right? And that's not to be like, you have to be perfect at this. It's just showing that there are consequences no matter what our actions are, right? So if you're under eating, if you're overeating, like we talked with Mariana last week, she was under eating, but thinking she was, pretty good on our containers. So it's really one of those things where we have to just be real and say, like, are we really doing it? And what can I do? What can I do a little better, but not be hard on ourselves? I don't know if I preach that even enough. Like, this all has to come with a attitude of grace. and that you can figure it out and it's figure outable. So, yeah. I like the app right now. I do wish they could change it to have the AB, but I don't know if we'll get that or not.
So talk to me about that. Like, what do you like about it? Like, how are you using it then?
My phone is always with me, so I
Mhm.
remember to track.
Okay.
And I try to track. My goal is to make my food, track the food, eat the food.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time in the morning, I miss those 2 meals, but they're pretty much always the same. So then on my meal where I'm sitting in the kitchen waiting for something to cook or whatever, then I'm filling in my breakfast and my shake and getting it in there. But I send my tracker to the group most nights when I remember. There's probably a few nights I forget.
So are you talking about just the tracking option in the body app? Or the body app?
So using the portion fix.
Yeah, the
And then
container.
mentally, I know I've got one vegan Shakeology that's going to be a red bee. And then I just
Okay.
know I have to have one more red bee in my day.
Okay, so yeah, because it doesn't differentiate. So
Right.
I'm just looking in there now, like, is there anywhere for notes or?
I
You
actually
can take
just
pictures
write,
of your food.
I write the description in it, and so that's where I write red bee or yellow bee.
Oh, okay, okay.
Well, that's a good idea. So I don't even know where can you write it here? Like when you're in your meal?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, right there. Yep. Okay. Yeah, and that's where you can take a picture of your food too if you want to. Like, so if you wanted to go back and look.
yeah.
Because that's really helpful. Like if you're doing the plate it method, if you're on 2B mindset, because then you can just snap a picture of your food to go back and look at things.
Yeah, I was just writing it all down in there in the notes and then using the obviously the containers.
Let me see. Where do you see the notes? Like,
So when you
underneath-
go into your meal.
Oh, what did you have?
Yeah.
Oh,
you
I
can
didn't
put it
even
up there.
I didn't even see you could like literally click in there. Okay, that's good. And you could take a picture.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna start using this.
I just like it because it's always with me. So if I have a
Yeah.
second and I'm like, oh, wait, what containers do I have left? It's just right there.
Yep. I love that.
That's why I started using it as well, because paper would just get lost or get trashed, and I always have my phone with me. And it also helped me, like when I was doing time nutrition, it, set an alarm, and it also helped me that way.
I feel like these containers are off though. Like I'll have to go pull out my.
Oh, yeah. You'll have to look and make sure
You
you're
have to-
right. Yeah. You'll have to
You
make
have
sure.
to set your own container counts.
How do you set your own when you have to plug in your like
Yeah.
weight and all
So
that?
when you go in here,
You can edit it.
let's go back
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
Like
Isn't
edit
edit
under
button?
remaining portions.
Yep, right there.
yes.
edit
You can
button.
reset all and just put in what you want.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Perfect. Look at me, a coach for like how many years? And I never.
You are always
if you
learning. I
need,
love it.
Now, this isn't as helpful for gut protocol, but if you need to know what's on a food list, that's
Yes.
also right down here. So you can just click food lists. And now I mean, like you can get pretty close, right? Because
Yep.
like you'll get the portion fixed version, but
Yeah. I hope they update this. That would be so cool.
it
if
would
you
be
could
really
put-
nice to have the gut
Yeah.
protocol option. Yeah, it would be really great. And I think with the popularity of the program as it continues, and maybe we just need to start saying that as coaches, like,
Maybe they'll share
we
that
can
at
fill out
Summit
stuff.
if that's like the plan
Yeah.
or something, because man, that would be a really helpful tool because everybody's on their phone,
Right.
Mhm.
And then that's where I log the Shakeology too. I don't know if everybody knows that, but if you just log it right there, then you can stick it into your group.
Got it.
Add your picture and add all that stuff.
Mhm.
Make sure that you toggle over the groups for the first time. If it's not toggled over, because it won't share it to the groups if you don't toggle it over.
I have a random question.
Yeah. I love random questions.
My doula coworker, who's earthy and little crunchy. She was saying she made a ginger smoothie and she was drinking it during a meeting the other day. And she's like, it's just ginger and lemon peels and carrots. I'm sorry, lemon and carrots. But what was weird to me is she said she leaves the peel of the ginger on, she leaves the lemon peel on. And is this normal? Like, I'm
You
like,
can,
really?
you absolutely can. I don't know about normal. If you have a good blender, you can.
Right. She just says it has a lot more vitamins. I just didn't know this. That was very fascinating.
Yeah. Well, like on the lemon peel, that's where you get your lemon essence and the oils in the lemon. So, you know, I'm sure there's more things in that, right? Than just the pulp. It was, so I've mentioned this book. Sorry, I keep mentioning it, but one of the other things he talks about in Fiber Fueled is that every plant has its own microbiome. So you're ingesting that plant's microbiome. So if you get the ginger plus the skin, that's going to be a different microbiome than a peeled ginger. And you could be adding things in that you didn't have access to without the peel.
Interesting. Okay.
So
That's just my question. Is that normal?
my oldest will eat, like he has been known to eat an entire orange, like rind and all.
Go for it.
But I mean, it's just, yeah, it's just you just get different benefits from it. He'll eat the entire apple, everything except for like the stem. Actually, my youngest did that. He ate like, I don't even know how many apples on the way home from camp last year. I was surprised he didn't have like any gut issues from it, but he didn't. He says, yeah, Mom, I think I ate like 15 apples. Holy cow.
Hey, yeah, he's ready. Be ready to go. And there is
He
an
was-
apple ginger Shakeology recipe in the gut protocol. I've been meaning to try it. It sounds like it's really good.
It's very good.
So you, Jess, should make your ginger apple Shakeology and bring it with you to your next meeting.
I will.
Yeah, and be like,
like,
hey,
You
I got
need the
some
Shakeology.
this. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's
I'm
probably
going
the same thing as turmeric too, because it has like that outside. I wonder what different benefits the outside has. I don't know. That's just very fascinating if you think about it.
Right.
Because also, you know, vegetables can be different based upon if they're cooked or raw. They have different benefits. And so
Well, and with Kate, we were talking about how some vegans will leave some of the dirt on because then you can get vitamin B12
yes.
from it. When they get like, and we were talking about a grocer that like people
Yes,
come in
mine.
looking for dirty. Yeah, people come in looking for dirty vegetables. Because then
Right. Yes, exactly. They want the dirt still on the vegetables.
And
Yeah.
it was great too, because I just finished the whole chapter 2 on fermented foods. And fermented foods just create this whole nother world of microbiome in this vegetable that is just so like beneficial to us. So it was fascinating to hear all the points and, you know, from a different perspective. I've really been loving the fermented veggies. I highly recommend if you have a farmer's market, go see if you have somebody making it locally, because they have been the best add-in to my salads and my bowls. They're so good.
How was your sauerkraut, Rochelle? I don't think I ever heard you actually say that, like how it was.
It was really good. I still have a little bit left.
So how
Actually-
long did yours sit?
I think it was like maybe 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
I just was really eager to try it. So I was like, I'm just gonna put it in the fridge because I like it cold.
Yeah.
So I just started eating it. I'm the only one in the house that eats this stuff, so I had to finish it.
Yeah, well, I was thinking today, I was like, maybe I should pick up some cabbage. And I'm like, yeah, but then I have to wait 2 weeks. 2
Yeah.
weeks. Oh my gosh.
It'll be so rewarding when you're eating your own
Yeah.
sauerkraut.
I bought a little head of red cabbage at the produce stand the last time I was there, and I was like, oh, I should make more. And then I'm like, no, I'm just gonna wait. It's time consuming, but it is good.
There was a gal I used to work with at Gap in Spokane, and she teaches fermented foods, and I need to go on her thing and look up to see if she's put out any, because she would teach classes on it that you would pay for. And I need to look to see if she has any like on her blog or starter ones or something like that. It'd be fun to do this summer, you know, as produce is coming out fresh. And well, good. Any other questions with gut protocol? How's everybody feeling? Like, I know a lot of us are lots of weeks into it. Do you feel like you're waning? Are you still wanting to be on it? Or you feel like you're ready to transition, or what's happening?
I'm transitioning to portion fix.
Me
Just
too.
because I like to have my alcohol, and I do like I actually do really like the kombucha. But I like the freedom, I guess, and the less restrictions on the portion fix. So
Isn't that funny? Like a lot of people feel like portion fix super restrictive, and now we're like, I like the less restrictive portion fix.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm keeping a lot of the principles in, like I'm like, you know, I just went to Trader Joe's. And so like everything that I pulled off the shelf, I was looking at the labels, like added sugar, nope, put it back. Like I don't need extra added sugar in my life. Like I can do fine without it. I've had coffee maybe 3 times in the last 50 something days, 60 days, or whatever it's been. And I'm fine without it on a regular basis, which is, I mean, I don't know who I am. But
Who is this?
I mean, if you would have told me, you know, 2 months ago that I would not be drinking coffee every day, I would be like, no way, you're crazy. But I'm really enjoying the matcha every morning, and I don't feel like I need the coffee as much. And it is really acidic. Like I have had a couple, not major issues, but enough where I can feel the acidity in my stomach and my digestion and stuff, just a couple times. So the couple times that I've had it. So, but yeah, that's my plan right now. I may go back on it. I noticed probably too much information, but I know for me, when I was on the gut protocol completely, I did not bloat and I did not gain any weight when I had Shark Week. And this week I'm bloated and I've gained weight. And so it's very interesting how my body's reacting differently when I'm not on the gut protocol, when it's dealing with everything else and Shark Week at the same time.
Just as a side note too, he had a whole chapter on if you're previously constipated, this gut protocol, his gut protocol, which is similar, is not going to fix it. You have to fix your constipation problem and then you gut protocol. So I thought that was really fascinating. He's like, if you're chronically constipated, this isn't necessarily you need to like work that out with a doctor and then start on it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fascinating.
I can say for me, like I've been obviously reintroducing foods. I think we've eaten out 4 times in the last 7 days. So I just notice the sensitivities more and I also noticed how good I felt before. And like, so now I'm just aware, like before it was like, oh, I feel really good today. Now it's like, oh, I'm feeling really bad. I'd rather go back to feeling really good. Or this is so stupid again, like TMI, but I was at my office at work yesterday. And I'm like, I haven't had to spray any of my room spray because I don't have gas anymore. You know, like usually I'm like spraying just in case somebody walks by my office, even with my door shut, you just never know. But I mean, it just like those things, you're like, wow, I just thought this was so normal. And it's not, it just feels so much better. And yeah, just note. And I have to say, this is the weirdest thing. And I haven't really shared this one yet, but you guys know I have a rod in my leg that gives me a lot of issues and I have to modify a lot because of it. I noticed throughout this that I have no leg pain. Like I ran to my mailbox like a normal human. I didn't run like a zombie. And I noticed since I've started like increasing the sugar again, I'm like, my leg is just starting to give me weird little twinges. So I'm like, that is so freaking fascinating to me that pain can be associated with what you're eating.
That is amazing. Yeah. I think it's been really fascinating, just all those little tweaks, right?
Yeah.
And I've heard so many people say their joint pain is gone. And that could be if they were doing low impact. I was telling Bev this morning, I'm like, I feel good, or maybe it was Lily, I can't remember, but I feel like I can do 2 workouts right now because my body feels really good. Like I haven't been beating it up in any way. Yeah, it's fascinating.
It is. It's crazy. It's really cool.
Well, Beverly, will you share what you told me this morning? Do you remember?
Oh boy, now you're on the
I
spot.
don't know what I told you. I
Well,
was thinking of
you
something
just
else,
told
but
me, you said that you were expecting to be sore, but you weren't sore.
oh yeah. Yeah, I have like really, I have been doing like going as heavy as I possibly can since I am eating literally above my containers because I sit in A, whether I'm in weight loss or maintenance, and I've been living in A for years, other than, let's be real, because I will go out and I'll, have a drink or
That's a
whatever.
margarita night. Let's
but
just call
yeah,
it what it is. Yeah.
yeah. And, but 98% of my days, 95% of my days or whatever, I'm eating in A. And so, but yeah, since I've been doing this, I have been going as heavy as I possibly can in all of my workouts. And I keep thinking I'm going to be sore. And every single day I wake up and I'm not. And I'm like, how is that even possible? And I am doing a half of a scoop of Recover because that gets me still in my 10 grams. But yeah, I don't understand it. The only thing I can think of is that maybe because I am fueling over, it's giving me something extra to be able to build muscle quicker and more efficiently. Plus I'm taking these supplements that's aiding in the absorption that I haven't had for quite some time because I myself had come off of my supplements. I used to actually take hydrochloric acid, which is your stomach acid. And I stopped doing that quite some time ago, along with other supplements. But unless I got a hint that I may have gotten gluten or I eat out at a restaurant that could have possibly cross-contaminated, so I would have a gluten-specific enzyme that I would take. Other than that, I really haven't been on them. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Beverly, how has your sleep been lately?
So that's been kind of crazy. So the first week it was like Monday, Tuesday, it was all right. Wednesday through Sunday, it was like I was waking up at like 6:45, 7:15, and I was awake. Right. And I would go to bed between like 10:30 and 11. And 11:30 was one night, and still woke up around the same time. Now this week, I have woken up a couple different times in the middle of the night and can't go back to sleep for an extended period of time. But then fall back to sleep and wake up in the morning. And once I'm up, I have energy. I can stay and like, I'm not tired until I literally am laying there, closing my eyes, wanting to be tired. And then, yeah, so I don't know. Yeah.
And how is it eating above? Have you noticed anything different?
I just feel like I'm a little bit fluffier, but at the same time, I don't know because it's not hard for me because I'm like, okay, more food. I don't have a problem with eating more food. I get the containers in without a problem. So,
what bracket are you eating? Are you in B now or C?
B.
Okay, so you get an extra yellow.
Yellow and
A teaspoon.
And a teaspoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
which
what I did too, is I bumped up to B as well.
But I mean, in full transparency, I don't have a gallbladder and I don't absorb nutrients well. I don't absorb fat, and protein is a hard thing for me to absorb well too. So like I literally went through a period of time where I ate half portions of protein. many years ago at a time like that. And about like Shakeology was about the only thing that I ate a full serving of protein at a time because it was able to, my body was able to deal with it. But yeah, so, yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say before I got asked that question. Shoot. Oh, well,
The train will come back around.
maybe. It might have stopped somewhere else.
Carol, how are things going for you? I know you're feeling like you might be
Um,
sensitive this week too.
Yeah, I'm on week 3 of my 3rd attempt. I made it to week 3. Woohoo! Almost the end. I'm feeling good at what was it, the first or second week? I was like, when is the energy gonna kick
Yeah.
in? So I think it has. I'm not really tired until like bedtime. So, but my sleep has been kind of in and out, like weird dreams some nights, which is weird for me, and sometimes waking up, going back to sleep, different things. But I've not been getting to bed and getting up at the same time, so that's probably part of it. But just getting all the greens in, that's a big one. That's a lot. I feel like plan A is a lot of food, even though I never thought that before. Like, do you feel like it's more food on gut protocol, even though I was following vegan?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it is an extra container somewhere. I mean, I'm on C, so I've got 7 cups of vegetables. So
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels like a lot of food. I feel satisfied, but then I am hungry by the next meal because I feel like I think it just digests faster and more efficiently and stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking possibly some nuts or seeds because like I had peanut butter or the sunflower butter or the cashews yesterday morning, like mid-morning snack. I was bloated all day. Like I was like, oh my gosh. And I hadn't had that at all, any of the 3 weeks. So I knew something was up with that. But yeah, I mentioned in the thread about having the Everly well test done years ago. And I sort of kind of was like, well, they're low on the list or mild on the list. Maybe they're not that big of a deal. But I guess when you add all of those together, like if you put a lot of mild sensitivity things in your diet, I mean, you could probably have issues. So I really probably want to get that test done again. I know that there is some opinion out there that they're not really that accurate or not, but I think it's a good, just something to do and consider. But looking forward to next week and wrapping up the 4 weeks and then considering what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to go back to, because I really don't feel deprived of things. It feels good. It's fairly close to what I was doing before, but I feel better. So there's obviously something that I'm taken out that I needed to. So
Right.
I may experiment with adding some things back in, but I don't really miss most of the things that we took out. So yeah, it's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm finding that too. Like I don't miss them.
So both my son and my husband are doing this too. My son is doing it, but he doesn't follow containers. Like he just eats what he eats a well-balanced meal. I guess I should say that. But he has actually, his acne has healed up and his moods are more stable. Like he has hit.
How old is he?
He's 16.
Mm.
And he has hit the side of teenager life where, like I now have been diving into the science behind the teenage, like just those teenage years, because I that's just what I do. I like to get more information. But basically there's like a 2-year period that every child is different. Females and males differ from each other also, but you have basically a 2-year period where their brains are rewritten. And that's why they get so like sensitive and so like reactive and kind of become toddlerish, asking why. And I've noticed less like moodiness from him and more just even keeled moods. Don't get me wrong, he still has like, you know, just like, what the crap did I just do? You know, like
You were just breathing. Yeah, you were just breathing. It's fine.
I know, exactly. Well, it's usually not that. It's usually something I have said that is
Right.
like, oh my gosh, okay, well, that's the end of the night. And it's usually at the end of the night. And actually that's another thing, because towards the end of the night, they do get more sensitive like a toddler. But so it's fascinating to see the difference in him. Other than that, he really hasn't noticed, though he absolutely loves the food. He's like, he's been eating the lentil chili, and I added more bell peppers and butternut squash so that it was 2 veggies worth in a serving. And he's like, oh my gosh, it's just so filling. And since he has sensitivities to sugars and stuff and gluten and things that he has access to at school all the time, you know, kids will just give him food, and it'll show up in his face and in his mood usually. And he's not even tempted to get any of it, because he's having so much, he like feels so satiated and so happy with his food. So that's good. Scott, I think we're gonna have to bump him up to C, because he has been saying like, I'm
How
still
could he,
kinda
how can he
hungry.
be eating in B anyway?
Yeah, he is.
That's too little.
That's where he falls. But yeah, so he is going up to, yeah. If he wants to lose, that's where, yeah.
Yeah, but he's not within 10, he's not over 10 pounds of his goal weight.
Yeah, I have no idea.
God, I'm telling you.
He
get in
definitely
C. I know you can hear me. Get in
So,
C.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna move up to C this week.
Yeah, you
I
don't need to
weigh-
lose weight.
Eat
I
the
weigh
food, buddy.
100
Eat the food.
Okay, the thing is that this is not a 6-pack. I still have love handles here.
It's okay.
So-
You're going to convert that into muscle while you're doing the workouts, because you're going to be fueled. So you're going to add muscle easier with more food.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll have a better body recomposition.
I'm at my high school wrestling weight, and it's been 30 years.
That's impressive.
Well,
Yeah.
that's where I tend to stay nowadays.
Yeah.
Ever since we achieved a certain level, I hang out at this level.
Yeah, depending upon what we decide to
But-
do treat wise.
Yeah,
How many treat days we go.
I weigh 171 pounds. And I'm 5'8".
There you go.
But yeah, other than that, like, I can tell you that he sleep talks.
You're right. Yeah,
A
we've been
lot.
hearing about that.
I do not. I do not. Like, I have this sleep thing on my phone that monitors my sleep, and it picks up all his stuff. Like, it picks up every time he snores, when he sleep talk. I kept seeing that there was talking, and I'm like, I'm not talking at 2 o'clock in the morning. What? And I don't remember what you said. Oh yes, you said you were talking about work ethic. Work ethic. Yes, it's very important to have good work ethic. I have good work ethic.
He's saying this while he's sleeping.
Yeah.
That's
Well, the night that I was up like for
I
an
love
hour and a half, I'm listening to him talk about work ethic, apparently. But yeah, so yeah, other than that, he hasn't noticed anything.
Yeah.
But
Lily, do you want to get your food label in? I just realized we're almost at 6
oh
o'clock.
yeah.
Sure. I have a couple actually. So
Okay.
has anybody tried this one, the green tea?
No, but I saw it. I saw it at Trader
Saw it
Joe's.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had the green tea with pineapple, and then they had a white tea with pomegranate, I think, and then one other one. I don't remember what the other one was, but this is just brewed green tea, which is water and green tea, pineapple juice, carbon dioxide, citric acid, ascorbic acid, and it's 10 calories per can, 3 grams of carbs, 2 sugars, no added sugar, and 0 protein. So
Okay.
I figured I would have it when I just wanted something other than water, occasionally.
Yeah.
Not a big, it's pretty good. It tastes, it has like a hint of pineapple at the end, kind of.
Nice.
So, but then I got this one, which is the cauliflower crust. Keeps. And so they're like thin burritos, I guess, tortillas. And it says it's shredded cauliflower, liquid whole eggs, which is eggs and citric acid, grated Parmesan cheese, which is Parmesan cheese, skim milk, cheese, cultures, salt, enzymes, deactivated yeast, minced garlic, dried basil, and dried oregano. And it says one crust is 120 calories, which is 6 grams of fat, 4 carbs, 1 fiber, and 10 grams of protein.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I guess you'd be at like I don't know if you can count, I don't know how much cauliflower is in it to count a green.
It says 60% cauliflower
Huh.
on the
'Cause you're-
front. That's
you
on the
just-
front though.
You're definitely at a half red there. And probably a teaspoon.
To account for the fat.
Yeah. Or you could be some portion of a blue because it's a cheese. I don't think it'd be a half blue though.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if it was a blue or a teaspoon.
Well, I mean, you have to account for the fat in some way. So, I don't know how much blue, how many fat grams that would normally, I mean, I guess I'd go more toward blue since it's cheese. So you're
Yeah.
like not having, if you counted that as a teaspoon and you had a blue of cheese, that wouldn't really work out very well. I don't know, maybe if you did a half blue, I'm just not sure if it's a half blue or not.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I haven't tried them. Sue, you tried these before?
I have.
Okay.
I liked them.
I'll have to try them. I like the Costco ones, but I figured I'd try these ones. So, and then I had spaghetti squash nests.
Oh,
I had those too.
pull it
got
up
those
to you.
too?
There you go.
I didn't get any.
Oh,
Are they frozen or are they what?
no,
Oh,
it's
in the box.
organic dried spaghetti squash.
Oh, so
Mhm.
they're dried and then you rehydrate them?
It
Yeah.
says put it in a boiling pot of water and cook it for 4 minutes or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Tell me what you
So-
think. I didn't buy them. I saw them and I was like,
I'm thinking you just stick a spaghetti squash in the microwave in 4 or 5 minutes and you'll be good to go.
Yes, if you could find one. I can't find one right now. So I
Seriously?
figured I
Oh,
would-
they're all over our grocery store.
not mine. Not my little one where I went. And Trader Joe's didn't have any either. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I like spaghetti squash, and so I figured I'd try it. And
What's
it
what's
would
in the
be-
ingredients? Is
It
it
would
just
be
spaghetti squash?
easy on the RV also.
That's
So
true,
I
yeah.
like things that are easy on the RV. And so it's just organic dried spaghetti squash. That's it.
Hmm.
The only ingredient. So it's
All
40
right, well, let us
calories.
know how they rehydrate if it comes out.
Yeah, I'm super curious. It's 40 calories for 1/4 of the serving. So it's 160 calories for the entire box.
Mm.
So 0 fat, 8 carbs, 2 fibers, 5 sugars, no added sugar, obviously, and 1 gram of protein per serving. So I thought it was interesting. Again, I'm all for convenience when I'm in the RV and always looking for things that are healthy. They're also convenience for like camping or whatever. So
Perfect. Well, report back.
I will.
Any last questions or topics or things that you feel like we need to discuss going into next week or anything related to that? The next meal prep class will be June 5th. I'll probably early next week, I'll probably create the menu for that. And then I mentioned earlier before some of you were on, I'm thinking June 6th for our third gut protocol. So we need to kind of decide on that and see if we want to do that. I'm for sure going to do one, but I don't know if everybody else wants to join in. And then tomorrow is Wear Red for Funky Friday.
I forgot.
Get your red stuff on. And if you have not figured out your Top Gun stuff yet, did we officially move it to Thursday because that's the Top Gun ride? Or are we just riding? We're just riding and doing Funky Friday, you think? Because we could just keep it Top Gun week, you know. Maybe there'll be like a Tom Cruise filter we can put on ourselves or something. So we can figure that out, but Top Gun comes out on like Wednesday night, midnight, Thursday. There's a ride by Jennifer Jacobs on Thursday. That's the Maverick ride. And then on Friday is our scheduled Top Gun Funky Friday. So find your aviators or whatever you want to look like. Lily's going to win the prize for best dressed.
So question, as far as Fire and Flow coming out and doing the gut protocol, how does it adjust for the activity level?
Yeah,
Do you know?
so those are also 30-minute workouts. I think some are 25, if I read all that right. So you should just stay in your same bracket.
Okay.
But as we've mentioned before, right? If you're getting into something and you are feeling like you're too much, not enough, let's talk through what things look like. Like, are you really getting in what you're to be getting in? Like we talked about earlier, are you tracking? Are you using your containers so you know how much you're getting? And then if you need to bump up because of added activity, then that's totally okay. If you're doing gut protocol for the first time, it's not recommended you do anything other than 4 weeks for everybody so that you are in a no impact, so that your body is able to do what it needs to do during that. And then I don't know if everybody's seen the video. She talks about, like, say you've done gut protocol for the first round, and then you go on to whatever workouts you want to do. She recommends maybe every 3 months, if you're staying on the gut protocol nutrition plan, every 3 months or so, you want to come back to that 4 weeks for everybody. Give yourself a no impact break and then resume again.
Yeah, she even said that that's what her plan is she's going to work all the way through all of her programs, but in between each of them do the 4 weeks for everybody.
Yeah. And so like, I'm going to do a heavy lifting after this 4 weeks round, into July. And then I should have 2 weeks for deload weeks. So I'll be taking 2 weeks of no impact. Maybe I'll do some yoga or just, some cycling, but not at full speed or, things like that, so that I have a break and then go into Joel's program. So depending on what it looks like, I could do the 4 weeks for everybody during that time too, or something, how much time there is. Yeah. And so Fire and Flow, coaches are on May 24th and customers are on June 6th. So that is also coming. So yeah, have that on your radar.
I'll have the link out for the bod group.
That's a 4-week
Okay.
program, correct?
It is a 4-week program. Yeah. So you could do it twice before you hit Joel, because who is not going to be doing Joel's? Come on now. Everybody loves to see them some Joel. And it's going to be heavy lifting. I'm so excited.
Mhm. I agree.
All right. We'll try it. Let me
Very excited.
get a picture here before we're all off. Okay. Try not to get too much glare. Ugh. Okay. Ready? Cheese. Okay. So yeah, so we're red tomorrow. And as always, any questions that come up, just throw them in the group or throw them in the chats and we'll discuss them. And yeah, hope everybody has a great weekend.
You too.
Definitely.
Thank
See
you.
ya on
Thank you.
the workout Zooms.
See you.
Yes.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.